Hi, welcome back. This is going to be a short lesson that just looks at common errors that I see students making a lot and that I make on occasion. So we're going to try to deal with those and see if I can't help you get past them. Let's do that. Okay, so we're going to look at common coding errors and how to fix them. First off, we need to look at the types of errors that you're going to encounter. There are three basic types of errors in coding. The first is that called syntax errors. The second is called runtime errors. And the third are logic errors. Let's look at the first of these. Syntax errors. The most basic type of error. These are usually caused by typing errors or mistakes and can be avoided by practicing good coding habits. Okay, so let's look at some simple syntax errors to start with. This first one is one of the most common problems you'll see. So I've created this simple project. All we have is a main camera and a testing file. All right, so let's open this testing file. Here we have the testing file. You'll see that I have a debug log in here and just the start and the update function. But if you look at our console, we have this error right here. So what is causing that? It says unexpected symbol and curly brace and a parsing error. If we look at our code, if you double click on this, it'll take you to where it says the error is. Right? It says the error is here, but I don't see anything wrong with that, right? It matches up with this bracket, right? Often when you get an error, the error actually occurs before where it says the error is. Right? This is because the compiler can't read your mind and can't determine what you really wanted to do. So if you miss something, it will see the next thing as the error and not the thing that you missed. And in this case, if you look at the end of this line, we have forgotten a semicolon. We put the semicolon in, we'll switch back to Unity, and both of those errors go away. Okay, now I've made a small change to our testing file. I won't tell you what it is right now. You may be able to see it. Just for the sake of showing another common error. So here's our testing file, and if I switch over to Unity, I see I have an error right here. Right? It says the name output text does not exist in the current context. I see this all the time. What that means, it can mean a couple things. It can either mean you've misspelled output text or that you didn't declare output text. Now we know a minute ago I declared it, but you see here I have deleted the declaration that was up here. Right? So now when the compiler gets to output text here, it has never heard of it before, and it doesn't know what it is. So it's saying that it does not exist in the current context, which means that you haven't defined it within this class. And you'll see if I come up here and say public GUI text output text, and save that, that will go away. Alright? Just to show how this works, right? Say I put that a lowercase t, the second t a lowercase t, and save that. I will get exactly the same error. Right? Name output text does not exist in the current context because this variable and this variable are not the same thing. Right? Say that and you'll see it go away again. Okay, I made another small change to my testing file to show another very common syntax error you'll see. It's hard to even see it here, right? You may see it if you look at it really closely, but if we switch over to Unity, we'll see that we have the ever so common parsing error. All right. What is a parsing error anyway? What does it mean to parse? Well, parsing is what the compiler does when it reads your file, and parsing it is what it does when it, piece by piece, character by character, it has to figure out what your file means and turn it into bytecode so that the computer can use it. And when it finds something that syntactically it can't parse, it gives a parsing error, right? And if we double click on this, right, we'll see that it looks like right here, right? And if I click on that, you'll see it doesn't match with anything. Now this one matches with that, but that's the class, right? So what I did was I added an extra curly brace, which won't parse. So you have to get rid of that, save it, and come back here, and your parsing error goes away. All right. Notice that if I get rid of one, right, and I come up here, we get the same exact error, right? So that's your parsing error, and a lot of times that happens with missing curly braces. Now let's look at runtime errors. These are the errors that are not caused by poor typing, but usually by not assigning objects in Unity's inspector or by not initializing variables in code. Okay, so the next error we're going to look at isn't actually a syntax error. It's more of a workflow error, if you will. Something that can go wrong in Unity. Right? So we're looking at our testing file again, right? And we should expect when we run this to see testing this thing in our console. So let's click back here, make sure our console is visible, all right? And we will click play. But if you look down here in the console, nothing is showing up in the console. So why is that? There's nothing wrong with the code. We're not getting any syntax errors, right? But if you look at the main camera, our script is not attached to it. I see a lot of students doing this, right? If you don't attach your script to a game object, if it is a mono behavior, it will not compile and will not run, right? So what we have to do is simply take the testing file and place it on the camera. And now you see testing over here. It's okay there. If we click on run, we should see testing this thing down in our console. Here's a similar error that I get a lot. Not really a syntax error, it's a workflow error. So let's go in here and I'm going to create our GUI text and let's call that output text, right? And we're going to go in a script and we're going to say in our class public GUI text output text, right? And we're going to say output text dot text as we do equals testing this thing, right? Now we should expect this to show up on our GUI text, correct? we play it, notice that nothing shows up there. Why is that? Let's stop it and look at our console. What do we see? We see this unassigned reference exception. And this is one of those errors that actually gives you quite explicit directions to what's going wrong. Right? It says the variable output text of testing has not been assigned. You probably need to assign the output text variable of the testing script in the inspector. Right? So if you look at the main camera, over here you'll see output text, none GUI text. That means there's nothing there, right? We haven't attached it. So all we need to do is take this output text here, drag it over here, and then we play it, and it should show up. And notice the error is gone from our console.